What Kavanaugh should have said to the senators. I knew after the Kavanaugh hearings that some very good things had happened. Trump had declared that our young men are facing a dangerous world due to false accusations. Lindsey Graham, in a display of the mature masculine, called out those who had fostered the false accusations and labeled them a sham. And of course, Kavanaugh fought back and fought back hard. His confirmation then thus negated an assassination attempt via false allegations. Good, right? Yeah, but I still was left feeling something was not quite right. I realized that a great deal of attention had been placed on one man, a judge, a man from a moneyed background, and though this attention was in the right direction in calling out false accusations, it failed miserably in calling attention to the millions of men who've gone through, mostly unsuccessfully, a very similar process of being accused of something they had not done and then being found guilty of that unfounded allegation. But this was not just one man or a couple of men. This is likely millions of men, and nothing was being said for them. Since the misandrist feminist oligarchy has been sinking men in family courts, there have probably been about 35 million divorces. How many millions of fathers went through being falsely accused and then separated from their children through no fault of their own? Probably millions. And yet we hear nothing of that. Then, a few days later, I got an email from a friend of mine named Stephen Baskerville. Stephen hit the nail on the head. He wrote of what he wished Kavanaugh had said to the senators. Not what he did say, but what Stephen wished he had said. Let me read to you the wise words that Stephen wrote. Here it is. Stephen speaking for Kavanaugh, speaking to the senators. Senators, I know that many people assume that where there's smoke, there's fire, and wonder why so many women would fabricate all these accusations against not only me, but so many other public figures. Well, as a legal practitioner, I know full well where all this comes from. I can attest that the American judiciary is so rife with knowingly false accusations pushed by these same radical groups with no fear that they'll ever be punished, that's become part of the standard operating procedure. Moreover, the consequences are far more serious than what you're seeing here. In American divorce courts in particular, it's now routine for litigants to make knowingly false criminal accusations of domestic violence, child abuse, and more against legally unimpeachable spouses. These accusations, virtually 100% fabricated, rationalize permanently separating innocent children from legally innocent fathers, or sometimes mothers, plundering the fathers for everything they possess, incarcerating huge numbers of them without trial or any due process protections, and then turning them out on the streets. The corruption of the American judiciary is so deep that there is zero, and I mean zero, connection between the accusations and the truth. The judge knows this full well, and yet they punish not the guilty, but the innocent. They do this out of fear of the same feminist lobby that's behind the accusations you're hearing now, and today's circus is simply an extension of the same modus operandi. Senators, if you knew what I know about these systematic and willful miscarriages of justice in American courts, you'd have no trouble believing that the accusations against me are likewise 100% fabricated. Senators, if you believe that I'm unfit to sit on the Supreme Court, you have grounds. But please make sure they're the right grounds. I've committed no sexual crime against anyone, but I've done something far worse for someone in my position. In violation of my constitutional oath, I've acquiesced in the perversion of justice. I've known about these injustices administered to American citizens by the very instruments they should be dispensing justice, and yet I have remained silent. I would completely understand if you decide that this renders me unfit to serve, but please know that any other candidate drawn from the American judiciary will be, by the same measure, equally unfit. I've at least come clean with the truth, and I hope this helps you comprehend how deep is the level of fear and how powerful all the forces are against us. Addressing this is far more important in the long run than one nominee. And perhaps when the next candidate is barraged with similar accusations, you'll have reasons better than political ones why you should remember the presumption of innocence. Baskerville adds, hearing this from Judge Kavanaugh would win my enthusiastic support. And indeed, Stephen, very well said. Every lawyer and judge we know is complicit. We too are responsible for this gulag that has been removing loving fathers from their children through no fault of their own. This is hateful. We need to speak up and criticize this hate. If you're a father who's been unjustly removed from your children's life, know that you're a good man, as you are. And let's keep in mind that men are good, as are you. Like, comment, subscribe, and all that stuff. Come see me on Patreon, where we're really having a good time. Weekly videos, video time with patrons there. And we call it the Red Pill Oasis, a time to kind of gather and talk about what's going on in our lives. So come on and join us. We'll see you. Men are good.